Electric cars that one should avoid. The current capabilities of electric cars are so advanced that it's hard to even wrap one's head around them. It seems as though a new electric vehicle is introduced approximately once every other week. Even if this is an encouraging trend, it also means that some manufacturers might be cutting corners to keep up with the competition. So, what are some of the electric cars that you should avoid? Stay until the end, as you'll be shocked by some of the electric cars you shouldn't buy. Some of them aren't worth the price tag. Number 1. Nissan Leaf. It's anticipated that the new Leaf would bring back the fading emblem for Nissan since the previous models have already been phased out. You can get a wonderful bargain on the car right now, and you may drive away with the car from the dealership for as little as $13,180. However, in a year, this car will be nothing more than a paperweight, and it'll be worthless. The next generation Leaf is presently undergoing testing, and it's anticipated to make its debut on the market in September, at which point it'll wipe out the market share held by the current model. Even though it's currently the electric vehicle that has sold the most units anywhere in the world, the Nissan Leaf has fallen farther and further behind its rivals in recent months. Even if this car does what it's meant to do, the hassle of trying to sell it might not be worth it in the end. Number 2. BMW i3. Although it was a daring move to put a prestigious name on such a little city car, the ultimate effect is very charming. However, there are a few depressing facts that may be found inside. First, if the range extender engine was not included, the maximum distance that could be traveled solely on electric power was 81 miles. It's also still inferior to the 114-mile range offered by the Chevrolet Bolt and the Tesla Model 3. In addition, the BMW has a starting price of $43,495, which is an absurdly high price to pay when you consider that its rivals sell far better cars for significantly less money. Although the i3 continues to have a special place in our affections, we must admit that it has not yet moved beyond the hybrid stage in its development. Number 3. The VW e-Golf. On paper, it looks like this machine is operating just how it was designed. It's often considered to be the most successful and widespread electric car model in the entire globe. However, it's a shame because it demonstrates how heavily Volkswagen will rely on its forthcoming electric vehicles. Even though the battery pack of the VW e-Golf model is 50% larger and has a better overall capacity than the previous generation's battery pack, the vehicle's maximum range hasn't increased from 124 miles. The previous model had a ridiculously low range for a premium vehicle with only 85 miles compared to the Model 3 from Tesla and the Bolt from Chevrolet. The acceleration from 0 to 60 miles per hour takes 9.6 seconds, while the top speed is 93 miles per hour. The power output is only 85 horsepower. This seems like a relatively little step compared to the next generation of electric cars that Volkswagen is teasing us with designs and prototypes of. Number 4. Smart 4x4 Electric. The Smart is an interesting vehicle with only 2 seats, but the Smart 4-seater has always been the odd one out. This is because the Smart was designed to function as a city vehicle, allowing it to park right up to the curb and weave in and out of traffic like a mischievous rascal. For several years, the 4-seater was only another imposter. It capitalized on the desirability of the more compact vehicle, but it never really offered any significant value to consumers. The sprint from 0 to 62 miles per hour takes 12.7 seconds, and the range is just 96 miles, which is not enough. Even Smart acknowledges that the vehicle has a range of only 75 miles in some driving conditions. And that's not all. The car also doesn't have the same level of unadulterated focus on its primary function as the 2-seater. Even if only a few 4s are sold, the second-hand market will consider them to be as unwelcome as a burp in a spacesuit. Number 5. Fiat 500e. Although the Fiat 500e is a well-liked vehicle, there's no compelling reason to purchase one despite its widespread appeal. It costs $33,900 and has a range of 84 miles and reaches 60 miles per hour in 8.4 seconds. Fiat had a lot of trouble incorporating an electric motor into an existing chassis, and as a result, the resulting vehicle is quite cramped and should only be used for traveling short distances. They would be overjoyed if they never made another sale of a vehicle and no one ever bought one from them. The company has admitted that it takes a financial loss on every vehicle it markets and sells. However, it has no option but to manufacture and sell this car to comply with the zero emissions regulations in both California and Oregon. Number 6. Ford Focus Electric. The Ford Focus is often considered to be among the best automobiles ever made. It's one of the most recognizable cars on the road. On the other hand, electricity is like a badge of honor that's very hard to earn. We can all agree that a time of 9.9 seconds to go from 0 to 60 miles per hour and an electronically regulated top speed of 85 miles per hour are not exactly impressive numbers. Again, the lack of diversity is the most fundamental issue that has to be addressed. It was widely regarded that Ford's claim of a range of 76 miles per charge for the automotive model year 2016 was too optimistic, but because of the increased capacity of its battery pack, which is 33.5 kilowatts, the 2017 model has a range of 100 miles on a single charge. Number 7. Mercedes-Benz B-Class Electric Drive. When we found out about Mercedes' plans for the Generation EQ SUV, our jaws dropped open in shock. Undoubtedly, the next generation of electric cars, produced by the Stuttgart automaker, will be just as spectacular. However, the brand's first try at a mass electric vehicle was, to say the least, a quite unimpressive effort. With a range of only 87 miles, it's starting to look like an afterthought. Even if it can go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 6.8 seconds, thanks to the 132 kilowatt motor that powers the front wheels, this is not enough to save it. Even though the Chevrolet Bolt is a more capable automobile, Mercedes charges an additional $39,900 more than the Bolt does. Simply said, this Mercedes has reached the end of its useful life. Number 8. Mitsubishi i-MyEV. Back in the days, Mitsubishi was known for having some of the best deals around, but lately, the price is no longer competitive enough to compensate for the shortcomings of Mitsubishi. Just $23,845 is needed to purchase an i-MyEV. It's starting to look like a horrible value compared to other currently available models. Because other automobiles are superior and can be attained at a lesser cost, the quirky Mitsubishi has lost the one thing that made it stand out as a potential purchase. And because of its 62-mile range, it has always been intended for use within the city, and this limitation will only worsen with time. Number 9. Honda Clarity FCV. The Honda Clarity is not a car that's capable of performing as advertised, which is something that we all want. It just takes a few minutes to recharge the cell that powers the 130 kilowatt electric motor on the Honda when you have finally found a supply of hydrogen to refuel it. You can go up to 300 miles on a single charge, and despite its unconventional appearance, it behaves just like a conventional vehicle. That must be the best news ever, right? However, the most significant issue is the limited availability of hydrogen fuel. Even if Honda gives you free access to $15,000 worth of hydrogen fuel, it's still conceivable to become a captive of the hydrogen network if you're living in a rural region and become stranded there. If hydrogen is going to be utilized as a practical replacement for battery power, we're going to require a network of fast charging stations similar to what's seen at Tesla's supercharging stations located across the United States. But because we're now only getting over the challenge of inadequate infrastructure for electric vehicles, the introduction of hydrogen will put us right back at the beginning of the curve. So, what do you think of the cars on our list? Which one didn't we include? That's all from this video. We'll catch you in the next one.